October the 27th, tree colours in late October. It is generally thought that a poor summer and a humid early autumn results in poor colours, and a sunny summer followed by a dry September seems to be what is needed for a good autumn show. If there is a particularly dry September and one or two frosts in late October, then the colours can be exceptional. Chlorophyll has been the dominant pigment for the entire year, but is now breaking down quickly as the autumn sun starts to destroy it. It is for this reason we start to see many of the previously masked underlying pigments, especially those which are more resistant to sunlight. Visiting places such as Kew, Wisley, Canizaro Park, Zion Park, and even Hyde Park and Kensington Gardens, it is quite possible to encounter butter and cadmium yellows, ember reds, gold, saffron, date, and clay brown colours, as well as a virtual compendium of different wine colours. Unless early October has been windier than usual, most trees should be still covered in leaves. Many more leaves are now being noticed underfoot, and the colour is generally moving from the trees to the ground, where it will be short-lived. London's woodlands seem still to be reluctant to change colour compared with the trees in streets and parks. Where oak, alder, willow and ash are growing, we see little change, but birch and hornbeams are now producing significant amounts of yellow and orange. Beech woods, although they may not have reached their apogee, are now the best places to visit. Wherever wild service trees are found, there is a brief show of yellows and reds. It will only be a matter of a few days before all this will dramatically change. Sumacs, larches, field maples, dawn redwoods and swarm cypresses are still all likely to be brightly coloured from earlier in the month. Compared with other trees, Persian irewoods, Parotia persica, colour slowly over a longer period. At this state, greens, reds, oranges and yellows may be found on a single ironwood leaf, with the tops of the tree being either bright crimson or cadmium yellow. These trees tend to be small or even just shrubs in London, but around the edge of the Caspian Sea, which is their home, they can soar to over 12 metres. A small yet impressive group can be seen in Battersea Park's winter garden, where the lower branches have been removed to show off the browns, greys, pinks and yellows on their patchy barks. Mr. Parrott, the gentleman who first discovered the tree, was also famous for having been the second person to reach the summit of Mount Ararat, Noah presumably being the first. London plains are perhaps the tree most associated with the city. Many are still covered in weak greens and yellows, but once their leaves fall, they become like brown parchment paper. They decay slowly and so form piles which start to crunch underfoot in dry weather. In the wind, they produce attractive rustling sounds, and dogs seem to derive great enjoyment diving into them. Other large trees starting to go over now are the Indian bean trees, foxglove trees, and many of the larger maples. Arguably, the most impressive trees in late October are the sweetgums, tulip trees, buckeyes, Caucasian wingnuts, and American oaks, although many individual rowans and whitebeams can also now be at their best. The American oaks, and other groups so associated with the four colours of North America, include black oaks, scrub oaks, white oaks, and bare oaks, none of which we see in London. We do, however, see scarlet, red, and pin oaks, which, because of their size, tend to be only found in parks or tree collections. There they can form 12-metre towers of scarlet, crimson, and various wine colours. Tall oaks have always been accused of inviting lightning bolts. They were also associated with clouds, which it was believed connected them to a sky god. In London, they rarely grow much over 18 metres. But around the Great Lakes in America, they soar to 30 or 40 metres, giving a lot more credence to the origin of these particular beliefs. Another group of trees starting to be noticed more now are the smoke trees, Catinus species. These are generally small, compact trees, which is why they are so popular in London's front gardens. They are generally planted for their deep purples, reds, and crimsons, which they all produce at this time of year. Some rarer, more exotic ones can be seen at Kew. The smoke bush, Catinus cogigria, is the common one with the deepest purple leaves and the smoke of flowers which we see in gardens, but it is the much taller American smoke tree, Catinus obavatus, which is the star, regarded as many as providing the best autumn colours of all trees. Certainly the Chittenden wood form, which can be seen at Kew, seems to be a pilgrimage for many tree enthusiasts at this time of year. A good rival to this tree are the myriad of colours produced by the cultivars of the Japanese maples, especially Acer palmatum and Acer palmatum dissectum. Collections of these maples can be seen at Wisley and in the Kyoto garden within Holland Park. For sheer impact, the firebox reds of some rowans and sweetgums should also not be forgot. One tree that is worth watching for colour the entire year is the sassafras, Sassafras albidum, a fine specimen of which can be seen in Canizaro Park. At one time, its sweet-smelling wood was thought powerful enough to cure syphilis. Victorians also bought a tea made from its leaves called salup, which they believe to cure cured gout. When the trees are young, they have pale green leaves set on pinkish yellow stalks. As the tree ages, the leaves become dark green with white midribs set on red stalks. Then autumn arrives and everything changes to pinks, yellow, and oranges. Although one of the first trees to arrive in Britain from America in the early 17th century, surprisingly, they still remain rare. This may well be due to the difficulty of germinating seeds, as well as their slow growth rate even after germination. Very much in contrast to all these colourful trees, many hazels, willows, poplars, crabapples, and sweet chestnuts are still only dappled at best. There are alders, magnolias, and mulberries that remain defiantly unchanged, even quite close to losing their leaves. Oddest of all are probably the dove trees, which can now be almost leafless, but some still retaining some of their white handkerchiefs.